I'm just going to continue on with the guitar from A to G sharp lessons. I kind of named it after the fact. I did the first introduction to the A key, A major, for now. And I decided, hey, you have something from A to Z, right? Well, we know that there's no key of X, right? They stop at G sharp, so they go A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And there's sharps and flats in between some of them, right? So in the key of A major, just to recap, we had the Ionian, the major scale here. I'll just do it 3 notes per string. We had A, B, C sharp, right? D, E, F sharp, G sharp, and A. So F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp are the sharps in A. There's 3. And the other notes are natural. A, B, E, D, that kind of thing. So there's 7 notes. And if you want to call an octave an 8th note, that's fine too. So just to kind of go through that then, we have the position here: A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, right? Start at the octave, that 8th note, right? So we'll call this 1 again. So we got A, B, C sharp, D, E, right? F sharp, G sharp, and A. So this just repeated here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then starting on that root, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Staying in that A major position, right? The same one, just to not make things any more complicated than they have to be. You can bend, let's say, in the major scale, A major, just for practice. So we have that, right? Now, let's bend the notes up to the next consecutive note in the scale. So in A major, our root note is A, of course, and let's bend that A kind of up to a B. You can sound the note just to make sure that you're bending it up. Kind of cool, right? You can take this next B note, and what's after the B is C sharp, right? So we can bend that up a whole step like we did the A to the B. So now we're going to bend the B up to a C sharp. You kind of hear it. And you can even vibrato it too if you want, time your vibrato up, and we'll get to that in a second. So when we get to the C sharp, now the interesting thing is C sharp to D is only a half step, okay? So we're not going to have to bend this quite as dramatically, right? You can sound that note again and then bend it up. So C sharp bent up to that D is that half step bend. Now when we get to D, we're going to go back down here, and we have to bend the D up to the E, right? To the next note there. And I might use this finger, like, just to... I might start using these 3 as like a crutch, because just with one finger, it's a little more challenging. So when you get to the A string, use these 3 all together and just kind of yank it, right? So we got that. Now we'll go to, so now we're going to bend this note, the E, right, to that F sharp. All right, so it's another whole step bend. Let's do the same thing. Use these 3 fingers, just moving them up a whole step. Right, we bent that up. Now when we get up to that note, we have to basically bend this up to the G sharp, okay? So the F sharp is going to be then bent up to the G sharp. We'll call the F sharp, we'll bring it down here, okay? We're going to play the F sharp in this position, and then we're just going to kind of bend that one up. Bend that up to that G sharp, and then from G sharp to A we only have a half step bend. That kind of thing. So you can bend each note. And the octave is, so you have that. You can just practice your bends. And you can bend them, right? And then before that, I know I talked about the vibrato, right? So let's kind of stay in that same position. And let's just kind of shake the notes now. So we have a vibrato that has the depth or wavelength of a whole step movement. So I'm just hitting that note and bending it up to this B, right? So I'm hitting the A and just do it real slow. Vibrato is all about timing. You can do fast vibrato, you can do slow vibrato, all right? You can do wild vibrato too if you want, and out of control. So staying in control is the idea. So if we go to the next note, so now we're just bending that B note. Boy, that was beautiful. We're bending the B note up to that C sharp. And then we got the C sharp. We have a half step vibrato from the C sharp to the D. You can do it here too, or whatever. Now there's a whole step. Bending that D up to that E. Now I get me 3 fingers here doing that little crutch thing to kind of help me, and then I got another whole step here from the E to the F sharp, right? And then there's a little another whole step. And then you can do it up here too. You can bend those notes up here where we get up in the kind of use your ear to make sure, kind of like a singer would make sure they're in pitch. They use their ear to guide them through the intervals. And then, you know, you can kind of mess with that. And then what I want to show you is I'm going to combine two modes. I'm going to combine Ionian and then from here I'm going to jump up here and I'm just going to go to the next mode here, okay? So Dorian is right next door, right? We have Dorian here. So slow Dorian, beginning on the B, half step, right underneath, whole step, right underneath, 2 frets again, 2 frets again, right? Right underneath, 2 frets, 2 frets, up a fret and underneath, half step, whole step, half step, whole step. So we have these modes right next to each other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Dorian backwards. So what I do is I go back to my duck plucking, my duckin' plucking. And I can just kind of continue up them, right? And you can pick it, of course. You can legato it. A little bit of pulling off in there, maybe not true legato. And if you really want to bear it, you can, you know, kind of try to do that too, where you're not even using any hand to help you along the way. And I'll give you a quick one before we leave. That's kind of cool. I got it from Kotzen. I kind of stole it. I mean, I'm sure he got it from somewhere. It's not like, nothing's entirely unique, right? Musicians are like pirates. I may be the worst pirate you've ever heard of, but you have heard of me. Right? Little Jack Sparrow there. I might be the worst pirate you've ever heard of. You know, all flipped out like Keith Richards, right? So what I kind of saw with Kotzen, he was doing this. He's like, he's kind of hammering on. First he plucks these 2, then he just hammers on the 5, right? And then what he does, he just catches the octave with an upstroke, with like the middle finger, and then he just goes back down, right? And then so it's a little hammer on in here, and then he pulls back off, and then it's a downstroke again. Pop on, pull off, back down, pop on. And this bar is just catching that 5, right? And the octave. And I thought it was kind of a cool lick, you know? It was like, because it kind of cruises, you know? If you want, you can get it moving. It's kind of hard to articulate, but it takes some time. the guitar can be kind of intimidating when you look at it, because you're like, wow, there must be, 100 notes there, right? And, it's like, imagine a piano, okay? A piano has all the white keys and all the black keys, and they're right there, right? And they're linear, they're from left to right, okay? Well, the guitar, okay, the guitar is like a piano stacked on a piano, stacked on another piano. So imagine them like the E string is this piano, right? And all the notes are the same, A through G sharp. Go to the next piano, and then that piano starts, the A string, that piano will start on an A note, and then that keyboard will go from A to G sharp. Then the other piano is on top of that, the D piano for the D string, and those are the same notes from A to G sharp, starting with the D note, and they're just kind of stacked like that. So it's like, it's not one linear plane with little keys on it, and your black keys are your sharps and flats, and your white keys are your true notes. The guitar, the black and white keys are kind of invisible. They're kind of assumed inside by frets, meaning by whole steps and half step intervals. So always think of it like that. Don't think of guitar like, oh my gosh, there's a million notes. Look at this. There's like 6 strings. There's like, 20-some frets. Do the math. That's a lot of notes, and it's really not that many notes. It's just kind of like, if you want to think about it like color, right? There's only so many colors. There's variations of colors, right? There's darker blues and lighter blues, but we don't have to get freaked out by a rainbow, right? And that's all it is. It's just a repeating series of colors, and all the notes have their own character. So, a lot of times people, when they write a song, they have to find the proper key, because a song can live and die by that, right? Because, hey, Joe Singer here has to sing in E flat. He can't sing it in E, it just throws his voice off. So there's so many factors, but none to really truly be intimidated by. And that's why I'm kind of keeping it all simple for now. And even here, you can do that, the major scale here, right? So it's just 2 to 4. And then, so here we have 2 4, 1 2 4, 1 3 4, 1 3 4, 2 4, 1 2 to end. Same notes, different spot. Those notes go all the way up the neck. They repeat, repeat, repeat. Live, die, repeat. All right, that's enough. I'm getting carried away here. Getting all jacked up on Java. Say a prayer for me, people. Happy New Year. Later.